But certainly, the games that I've seen this year, there has been some poor games, but there's been some brilliant games too. And I suppose we look back,
Yeah.
right, and we look at soccer. So I'm a Man United fan, and Man City obviously emulated Man United's triumph at the weekend. Winning the treble, the FA Cup, and I watched the FA Cup final. It was dire. It was absolutely dire. The FA Cup semi-final between Man United and Brighton, it was dire. The Champions League final, it was horrific. Now you go back and you look at some of the games that took place this year, Man City, Liverpool, Liverpool beat Man United Anfield 7-0. Like, those were thrilling games that people were just, these were brilliant standard of football, etc. So you're going to get, the more games that you have, the more poor games you're going to have, at the end of the day. And that's the thing, you're not going to have brilliant games all the time, and that's something that people have got to remember as well. There's got to be an element of perspective when it comes to analysing our games. I think we're very, very hard at times as well when we're analysing it, and we're sort of looking at it and we're dissecting it with a fine-tooth comb, and we're saying, this is terrible, look at the way we're playing, it's defensive muck. But there's a wee bit more to it than that, and teams are trying to expand and open up. And look, I'm going to throw one thing out there, right? And I think it would just revolutionise the game, okay? If you press a team man-to-man now, you don't really get any rewards out of it. Why do you not get any rewards out of it? You don't get any rewards out of it because most teams now have a competent goalkeeper who can come out the field. Even Roscommon's period of play against Dublin, right? So the whole fact of Roscommon keeping the ball for 6.5 minutes, it's centred around Conor Carr. So the simple solution is, go back to 1990 when the World Cup was unwatchable. What did they do? Team went 1-0 up. They rolled it out to the fullback. He tapped it back to the goalkeeper. Rolled it out to centre half, back to the goalkeeper. The back pass rule was still allowed. Then, lo and behold, Premiership came in, back pass rule banned, and all of a sudden soccer took off through the roof, and it was so exciting again to watch. And that's the one thing we can do in Gaelic football. Forget about 3 men inside the 21, 6 men in here. Forget about kickouts. Back pass the goalkeeper, banned. You cannot pass the ball back to the goalkeeper. And if you bring that rule in, one simple rule that's so easily policed, all of a sudden then if you press a team man-to-man, you'll get rewards. You will be rewarded for your ability to press a team effectively and turn them over because they don't have the outball back to the goalkeeper. I'm not saying the goalkeeper can't join in open play, because they can in soccer, but you cannot play it back to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper might be able to join in the play further on down the field, that's fine. But a back pass to the goalkeeper rules out those long bouts of possession, but it also rules out the opportunity for a team that if they're going man-to-man, they get punished because the outball is the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? So it's a simple rule. It's a simple rule.
How would you enforce that, Stevie? How in terms of, I know from the kick out they're saying you obviously can't go back. If he kicks it out to the cornerback past the 21, obviously you can't go back with it.
Well, so from the kick out that they've had that rule in, so why not just expand that rule and have that rule that when you're in your own half, you cannot play the ball back to your goalkeeper. That, like for example, if you go back to that period of play where Roscommon played Dublin, if that rule was enforced, Roscommon would have been blown up for a free straight away, and all of a sudden Dublin would have tapped that free over the bar, got a full court press on, and we're back to an open flowing game again. We're back to those sort of individual battles and those individual duels that people really, really admire. Obviously, it's one of the greatest, it's one of the greatest iconic sort of it's one of the greatest symbols of hurling is that individual battle, man-on-man combat. That's why people enjoy watching the hurling, because it still has that element of innocence about it, where the tactical nature hasn't taken over. Now, don't get me wrong, the likes of Limerick and stuff are still operating at a very, very high level, and there's sweepers and there's puck out strategies and there's playing through the lines and all this terminology. Of course, hurling has changed. Like, I'm not saying it hasn't, but there is still that real fucking one-to-one battle, and I just think if you bring that back, and the other thing, and I'm just going to be bluntly honest here as well, I think another aspect of Gaelic football that needs to change as well is the refereeing. And I'm not being critical of referees, but I think what a foul has to be changed. Like look at that Munster final on Sunday, the intensity. Like, all right, the referee came out of it with a bit of criticism because he didn't give Clare the free at the end. But my God, you had to earn your free. Some of the referees in Gaelic football now, the definition of a tackle is just non-existent. You put, I'm not going to name them, but there's certain referees in Ireland, right, who are what I would call, and I used to just couldn't wait to see who was refereeing the game of the weekend, because it actually dictated how you actually delivered your coaching. So if I seen a certain referee, I would say, right, he's a technically based referee. He's going to blow every technical foul. So in training, if we're doing any tackling or we're doing any sort of condition work this week, it has to be blown. We have to be hard on players, and players will be frustrated. But you were trying to explain them this is the way it's going to be. But if you got, I want to name certain referees, but if you got a certain referee who you were thinking, yeah, that's okay, you would let the game go a wee bit more because you knew you were going to get away with it, And like I think back, like this is the thing, and like you want players want a game that flows, supporters want a game that flows, coaches and managers want a game that flows. Let the game flow more and stop blowing small little technical interference or the lightest of little jersey tugs or nonsense like that. Stop blowing that and let the game flow, and that will make Gaelic football a better spectacle. It's two simple things. Let the game flow and stop the back of the keeper.
What do you make of we say pundits on about we say having two forwards up at all stages inside their own 65 or something like that? How would you feel about that?
See, all these rules, though, Enda, are so hard to police because, like, the referee needs eyes in the back of his head. You only need 2 or 3 referees. Oh, he stepped out of the area there or whatever, and you're talking zones, and then you're talking about club games where pitches aren't properly lined out and nonsense. Just a simple rule where the referee can look if the ball is played back. Like Kilmacud Sevens, for example. I remember going to Kilmacud Sevens when it was a really, really good tournament, and it was a brilliant tournament actually. I don't know if you were up at it, like in Kilmacud, like, and it was a fantastic tournament. You had some brilliant footballers played in it and some brilliant clubs, and it was a very iconic tournament to win and a very sort of privilege to win it. Like, but I remember getting up a number of times, and the rule was you couldn't pass the ball. It was like it was like a backcourt rule in basketball. So once you crossed the halfway line, you couldn't pass the ball back into your own half. That was a simple rule that was properly enforced, but it stopped those long, because in sevens football it would have absolutely killed you if you had a long bout of possession, because you just couldn't have chased it down because you were that goosed, But like, it's two simple rules rules that could change. It could change Gaelic football for.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. Are we near that though, Stevie? I think you're right in terms of a lot of people are kind of glass half empty when it comes to this, and we are very hard. As you said there's some awful fucking soccer games, and like doesn't seem to be too much media attention with it, as in like slagging it off. Like, but Christ, if there's a bad GA game here, it's slated. Like the papers are all about it. Look at you. I think there has been the majority of games have been decent this year. I think you're right in terms of the rules. Something like that, a backcourt rule in terms of you can't go if you're inside the half. You can't go back again or something like that, just to make more excitement. Then are you favouring the other team in terms of playing a defensive system? Then so that's kind of have to take that in mind. But they have to look. A couple of tweaks definitely should be a couple of tweaks during the off season here, just to help things along, as you said, like the open football. That's what people want to see here, and the flow of football. And I couldn't agree more with you with the referees as well, to be quite honest with you. So, like.